Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game.
All bets are off tonight in Georgia as we return to competition at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. After several decisive races in the championship battle, we're ready to get back to business once again for the 16th race of the 2025 Integrity Ignite Series season. Welcome back live on FTN Broadcasting to coverage from Atlanta once more. I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing. Last week, Matthew Thunors was able to take the championship lead, and now with qualifying on the move once again, we're back racing in a 1.5-mile circuit, but it doesn't drive anything like those that we've previously been to this year. The Atlanta Motor Speedway experiencing that change in package over the 2023 racing season, and no longer is it that conventional style of intermediate, but instead a miniature super speedway. The most important races of the regular season are right ahead of us, and with a new title leader in Matthew Thunhorst over his own teammate in Thomas Bressi, tonight might make the difference for the drivers up in the front of the field and for those at the bottom of the playoff picture, with guys like Blake Cannon, Jacob Fife, Ronnie Osmer, Braxton DeWeese, and DJ Stagner all fighting for good qualifying positions and good spots in the playoffs. Currently, Rob Ackley has the provisional pole position with 1 minute and 18 seconds left to spare. Justin Morton in the number 9 Toyota Supra, now 28th, as Justin backs it down to the inside. A majority of the field very close in terms of pace. The top 10 only separate by 49 one-thousandths of a second. And the top 33 separate by only a half second from beginning to end. Rob Ackley leading Jared Davis for the time being, Daytona winner in the Octane Series. Tom Wetmore gets up to third. Looks like currently the gaps are narrow up in front of the top 5, separate by 31 thousandths of a second. Braxton DeWeese takes it 12th, and you're seeing some moves made. Sebastian Miller goes 21st. Don Stevenson stays on the bottom of the track. Kyle Cooper is going for his second and final lap here. It looks like he's one of the very few who's coming across the line. At the stripe for Cooper from 34th to 29th. No movement at the front of the pack. The changes up front have been made long since past. Blake Gordon, 31st. It looks like his qualifying time is set, and so goes for the rest of this 37-car field. A big one at a smaller circuit, but a high-speed one at that. Welcome to Atlanta. Rob Ackley, the first ever Integrity Ignite Series winner, collects the pole in the number 22. For Rob, this team is very familiar, of course, with succeeding at a superspeedway venue. This is his second pole position of the year as he finds himself 14th in the championship coming into tonight. It'll be a critical race for Ackley as he looks to keep domination Intimidation Racing as a multi-car operation in the playoffs. Currently, their closest competitor to that playoff bracket, Nick Tarbuck, who stands in third in the championship, 103 points behind Matthew Thunhorst and 101 back on Bressi. So besides the JTM duo, Domination Intimidation Racing having the best chance of sending multiple drivers into the playoffs, Ackley might be the key component tonight as he qualifies far ahead of most. With 35 drivers taking times and 37 registering, let's get to know the field from beginning to end at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. The mini super speedway gave way to a lot of fast times and one of the tightest spreads in qualifying of the year. Rob Ackley collects the pole position, and he does so by only 9 one-thousandths of a second. Ackley's 32.367 puts him on top of the board over Jared Davis's 32.376.
Third place is Tom Wetmore with Ethan Lane qualifying in fourth. Lane, the Octane Series Championship leader, now sits fifth in the Monday night standings. You'll of course have fifth place qualifier Blake Cannon, former title leader, now sitting on the bubble, and Tyler Hensley, who's been red hot as of late, making moves up the championship pylon in the number 5. He'll start 6th tonight. 7th place is then going to be the driver of the number 37, and Elliott Henderson. Michael Laraya, 8th place after his best career run last week. You're going to have Casey Shue, that's the 9 spot, and 10th, Braxton Deweese is behind. It's Brian McFerrin, the final man in the top 10. Stagner, Deweese, 11th and 12th. And you'll have 13th place. That's the driver of the 07, Hunter Madalenas. 29 Machine, 14th in Nick Tarbuck with 15th, Nicholas Ward, 16th, Vinny Tickner, Ryan Potter, 17th, and Brandon Bernhardt, 18th. P19 is Ronnie Osmer, and 20th is Josh Gallagher with 21st, Sebastian Miller. Matthew Thunhurst, then 22nd, 23rd, Brett McClendon, and Jack Drucker, 24th. 25th place is the number 18 of Cody Smith, and to round out the top 30, Thomas Bressie, Josh Christman, Kyle Brooks, Kyle Cooper, and Calvin Filarski. Your final drivers on the starting lineup go as follows, with 31st place in Blake Gordon, Adam Wood 32nd, 33rd Boomer Logan and Justin Morton in 34th, with Don Stevenson taking the final time in P35. Steve Durham in the number 21 and Andrew Schaub in the number 86 are the final drivers on the starting grid today. 37th man is the 86 of Schaub, and it is a jammed field from beginning to end. Times are tight. Just a few thousandths of a second make the difference between starting up front and starting way behind. Your top 28 qualifiers separate by only 1/10 of a second. And the best of all in qualifying is Rob Ackley in the 22, taking his second pole of the year now. Rob is on pit road, as you can see here, putting on the throwback paint scheme tonight. That Chevrolet Camaro about ready to get to business once again. Jack Drucker, fastest so far in this final qualifying warm-up session. Post-qualifying, drivers are allowed to get a few more laps in. Drucker doing exactly that as Rob gets on the circuit here. Notably, the number 8, Matthew Thunhorst, qualifying poorly in 22nd, but his main title rival qualifies behind him in Thomas Bressie, 26th. Again, these two drivers have a 101-point advantage over Nick Tarbuck. Nick is third in the championship standings by a firm margin for the time being. However, of course, he's going to have a lot of work cut out for him to make it up to those top 2 places. And tonight, that position could be in jeopardy. Jack Drucker, who is up in front, looking to go at the number 56 team as Tarbuck, and vice versa. They'll be battling to maintain third in points. Jack and the Irwin Tools Toyota Supra 18 points behind Tarbuck after falling back one last week. Nevertheless, he'll set the final and fastest time here in our warm-up session, and that is Jack Drucker's number 56. Your Daytona winner in the Ignite Series, looking to replicate some of that super speedway magic as we go racing full throttle for 115 laps. iRacing official pace car loading in, and the field is due to follow. The starting grid just about ready to get to business, and you'll see Rob Ackley and Jared Davis alongside each other. Rob Ackley back up to the front of the field. A victory for him tonight would pay off big time for his championship cause. He is currently just beyond the confines of the championship picture. It looks like he is 24 points behind your 10th place driver in Blake Cannon, so a victory would be critical with only a few races left to spare. Of course, this is race number 16 of our 20-race regular season, which means we're coming up on the final month of contests, which include Richmond, Michigan, Portland, Texas, and New Hampshire, the regular season finale at the beginning of August. The top 10 bubble is the guaranteed zone of entry for the playoff picture, so you'll see drivers anywhere from 8th in Michael Araya down to 18th in Tom Wetmore with a shot. Wetmore, of course, today qualified 3rd. He's been good so far at the Crown Jewel races in the Octane Series, particularly with Daytona. Hoping to replicate the magic, he qualified on the front row on the Monday night Daytona race we had and won it the day after, early in February. Nevertheless, since that point, Wetmore hasn't had the best of seasons, at least on Mondays anyway, as looking to up the pace. In 12 races, 5 top 10s, 2 top 5s, and to this point, no pole positions to speak of. However, this was one of his best qualifying efforts, and to clarify here, 1 pole position, but not at a superspeedway circuit. He didn't start first in Daytona due to a reshuffle at the beginning of the race. It was Casey Shue who took P1. 1 extra lap to green across this 1.5-mile circuit. The biggest news coming out of Hampton, Georgia is the renaming of the Atlanta Motor Speedway over a multi-year deal to become Echo Park Speedway. Now, some of the branding on the circuit today has been changed, but you'll see we're still referring to this one as the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Of course, that's the way the venue's been called for oh so long, so it's going to take a little bit of a while here for even the track itself to adjust. If you look down at the start-finish line, you'll see the Atlanta word mark is still plastered right across the beginning and end of each and every lap. Conditions are as good as ever in a sunny summer Georgia night. 84 degrees track temperature by virtue of an 81 degree Fahrenheit ambient temp. Winds are northwest bound at 2 miles an hour with a relative humidity of only 58%, meaning drivers shouldn't have to concern themselves too much about tire grip tonight, as we are going to see a day-to-night race. So by the end of day, the stadium lights will be on, and it should be a significantly cooler track. Drivers are going to be going flat out for sure. Very challenging to pass in Atlanta. Last time we went racing here, it was Chad Mikus and Michael Stroll who were able to break out. That was Mikus, and of course his maiden victory in the 25 team, finally showing that he had what it took to win one of these events, and he was right with his teammate till the very end. So a first-time winner could be for the taking tonight. Davis and Ackley, they both have Ignite Series wins, as does Ethan Lane. But if you look behind to a guy like Wetmore or Elliott Henderson or Michael Araya, those are drivers who would love to snap the winless streaks and take home their first ever wins in the Ignite Series. Perhaps today is that day. Miniature Superspeedway Racing is unpredictable as Daytona or Talladega, but a little bit narrower and a little bit harder to get your timing right. It's a shorter race at that, at under 200 miles, so time is due to fly as we pass by Barney the Flagman and get things going from Hampton, Georgia. Welcome back to the Atlanta Superspeedway. We're underway for 115 mini Superspeedway laps. Ackley leads the opening sector. Leader Jared Davis, after 1 lap, he'll take it over Ethan Lane on the high side, and it's going to be Rob Ackley left low. The number 22 of Ackley now aside Tom Wetmore, and it's going to be largely, anyhow, double file. And this is exactly what we anticipated when we got things going tonight, and this has been the trend so far at all the races we've had at this new Atlanta Motor Speedway, where drivers often struggle to go 3 wide and make passes actively. Looking at some small shuffles so far, but you can see drivers not comfortable with taking it to the 3rd groove, at least just yet. That is very likely going to be the trend of the race as well. That is something we have noticed in previous events. It's even happened a lot at this circuit in real life. It's a circuit that has been controversial by nature. The Atlanta Motor Speedway was configured to be a more traditional cookie-cutter style oval for the 1997 racing season. At that time, Atlanta hosted the season finale, and it did up until the early 2000s, at which point the Homestead Miami Speedway took over, and that was when the NASCAR Next-Gen chase for the Cup began. Nevertheless, when you look back at the Winston Cup days and those final days at that, you certainly had some memorable moments even at this iteration of the circuit. Jerry Nadeau's 2000 victory, for one, comes to mind, as that was Dale Earnhardt's final top 5 finish, second to end the 2000 season. And of course, the Atlanta Motor Speedway also having a spring date in which Dale Earnhardt was able to pick up a memorable victory against Jeff Gordon, the photo finish, or rather Bobby Labonte, because it was in 2001 where Kevin Harvick got the upper hand on Jeff Gordon in only his 3rd career race, after filling in for Dale Earnhardt following the tragic conclusion of the 2001 Daytona 500. So this became a fan favorite circuit, and now it looks a lot different when you look closely at it, but when it comes to the shape of the track, it's pretty similar. Banking is higher, it is super speedway styled, and that means you're going to see higher speeds. As it stands, the Atlanta Motor Speedway has a banking of 28 degrees throughout the corner, just a little bit under Daytona or Talladega, going from the 24-degree configuration used for upwards of 15 years. It was 1997 until 2022, and from 23 onward, we have seen this modern version of the track. Now, the one thing is, even though the banking has gotten steeper, the track hasn't gotten all that much wider, and that's where the difficulty of passing comes into play. Davis leads one line, Ethan Lane has the other, and the top 10 as they qualify are the top 10 as they race. And it's practically the same down the line here. The interesting thing is actually the track narrowed over the course of this renovation process, going from a 55-foot width down to only 40, which I would say is pretty counterintuitive. And that's why the racing right now is challenging to describe as anything more than high-speed pacing. And that's sometimes a deliberate thing that we see at Daytona or Talladega, where drivers are waiting around strategy-wise. But at Atlanta, it's very difficult to get things going by virtue of having less room. You cannot comfortably go double wide. You would have to wait for another driver to make a mistake. And when you know how confident a driver is in defending, because of how this track is organized, you don't see a lot of opportunities to go at it just like that. So if I were any of these drivers, I really wouldn't anticipate the risky style of racing to do anything for me here, and that's why qualifying meant so much. Ethan Lane has gained 3 positions to get up to where he is right now. Jared Davis has only had to move 1, Rob Ackley falling back 2 just to be second on the inside line. But otherwise, if you started here, you're still there. Seeing maybe some small exceptions, Hunter Madalenis has made up 3 positions to go from 13th to 10th. 11th to 8th is DJ Stagner. He's made up the same amount of ground, only that he's done it inside the top 10 for the most part. Either way, the initial top 10 remains in control. 10 laps in out of 115. Jared Davis and Ethan Lane hold forward. You look at the back of the field, it's a very similar process. Every driver just holding on to their line here and not looking to lose anymore. There's Brandon Bernhardt in the number 81, 18th to 16th on the day so far, and he's got to his outside 2 of the most important drivers on the day. Here's the one that leads them. It's the number 8 of JT Motorsports, Matthew Thunhorst. ATM seeing their top 2 drivers first and second in the championship. The Exalta Chevrolet of Thomas Bresci and the Ford Mustang, sponsored today by, among others, Sim Motion. Of course, that number 8 here. Now, interestingly enough, although this team is known best for their road course ace status, they really haven't turned up at the super speedways after 2023. Thomas Bressi did the unthinkable and swept the Talladega Superspeedway in all of our 2023 contests, including a caution-free 266-mile feature, the longest green flag run that we have seen at a super speedway live on FTN, and the second longest Integrity Ignite Series green flag run ever, only surpassed by Anthony DeBarro's win at the Charlotte Motor Speedway that same year. Bressi, I think, having one of the most impressive performances of his career in that race as well. It was a photo finish to the line with natural green flag strategy and a lot of passing. That's where Talladega has that element of surprise and that element of danger for a driver. Oh, one down to the inside. That is Cal Filarski. Filarski already one down. Calvin was alone, and it looks like, not by virtue of damage, but got off to the wrong start, far behind, and you can see now big problems for Cal as he goes one lap down. Lane to the point to the head of the field, Jared Davis right alongside. Chris DeWeese in the chat room, thank you for stopping by. Braxton is moving up in the championship pylon after a few weeks of some setbacks. The goal is still that top 10 in what has been undeniably our most competitive season. The defending champ is right on the bleeding edge of a championship position to fully fight for. 20 points back on 10th place Blake Cannon. Less than a race's worth now. Braxton runs in 14th. Right about where he qualified, down 2 so far on the day. Sponsored tonight by 3 Dips Ice Cream Shop. Got a few sponsors on this number 1 car for Domination Intimidation Racing. DIR lining 2 up right now. There's also the number 29 of Nick Tarbuck. Nick is right there with his teammate, but there's really little he can do. Both of them boxed up in the upper mid-pack. But these two drivers, Sunhorst and Bressi, have made great moves so far. Matthew up 3, but Thomas Bressi putting a little bit more pressure. He has gained 6 so far and cut the gap on his championship rival a little bit more so than perhaps one would expect. They're both still at the back end of the field by all accounts, but they are making gains. Ty Smith in the chat room rooting for our Swamp Motorsport guys, and as we usually say at these super speedways, we got quite a few of them. First and foremost, DJ Stagner in the number 64. He is up 3 places so far, and he's bringing with him the number 99 of Ryan Potter, one of our 3 Potters in this series. He's the only one that has no relation to the other 2. And once again, Ryan back on the Monday night swing. He's so far gained 5 positions to DJ's gain of 3, 17th to 12th on the day for Ryan. And then you look a little bit further back, the Swamp also represented tonight by Sebastian Miller in the 83, 21st to 27th. He's played the route of taking it slow and falling to the back of the field to avoid trouble. Swamp Motorsports coming away with a dominant Highline Racing League championship, and of course already a one-time champion in the Ignite Series through DJ Stagner's inaugural campaign. So far, solid tonight, and DJ is eyeing another opportunity. He has not yet been able to take it to victory lane so far this year. He's done it in our previous 2 years. Tonight could be the night he breaks that drought. Through our opening 20 laps, the stalemate continues. This is often a driving style that is criticized heavily by fans. Even drivers get on each other about it, but we've had a few back and forth races in terms of the green flag consistency as of late, particularly in the Ignite Series, and that began with our Memorial Day kickoff at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, in which we saw upwards of 15 cautions over 300 miles. Now, race by race, things change a lot, because when we went off to Phoenix, we only had 1 caution, and then we went down to Nashville, it was a little bit more of the exact opposite, where we had yellow flags and overtime attempts galore, and it looks like at Atlanta, maybe we'll be swinging back to the opposite side of that pendulum, which has been really back and forth for about a month now. And it's kind of ironic that a superspeedway circuit might bring us back to the norm, and a traditional oval like Charlotte or Nashville was a little bit more hectic. But when everyone's running at the same pace, you really can't make any passes. Defense is going to be supreme at a track like Atlanta, where there's minimal room to go around anyone. I mean, we've had the same guys leading the lines for the past 20 laps. It's hard to say whether or not it's an uncontested lead either, because even if it was contested, where would they go? Up to the higher side of the circuit? Risk getting funneled out of line? You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're sucker holed out so early, and I think that's where the risk assessment factor has been such a big deal. Cal Filarski is 1 lap down currently, and the only driver riding solo, Andrew Schaub in the number 86 car. It looks like here he's going to try to find his way back to the field when they go around to lap him. 5 down as the field enters turn 1. 35 drivers remain on the lead lap. Jared Davis and Ethan Lane side by side, but again, nothing has come of it. It really has been an identical stalemate lap after lap. Braxton Weiss, 12th down to 15th. It looks like just a minor back and forth with Brian McFerrin is the cause for that. Ryan Potter is battling with Michael Araya. Michael might be able to take a spot from him once again, but if not, and they jockey for position once more, it could be Potter up to as high as he's been in 11th. Nicholas Ward also watching here. We'll see what he can do. Ward, quiet tonight. Overall, it has been an upturn for him for 2025. While the Ignite Series results haven't been as great as it's been on the Tuesday night tour, Ward making his name known once again. He gained 3 positions in the championship last week and was able to move up to 16th, and so he still has an outside shot of making the playoffs if the momentum continues to build in his favor. And it looks like a little bit of a jitter there for the 97 of Ward, as it is for the entire field. Not expecting much of that accordion effect, but you might see them slide up and down at the same time just to adapt to what the leaders are doing. Everyone wants to stay in that line of draft, and you're in a bigger risky position if you're alone and up front rather than if you're in a group and you're behind, because you could very easily be ostracized from the group and move out of the way, which we have seen happen before. Oftentimes it's happened at the track where you can go 3 wide comfortably, so imagine how bad it will be if you don't have room at all. Nobody has tried 3 wide yet. Not a one at the front of the field, and it looks like at the back still remains the same. Calm, consistent racing. And now you look at that, that's 3 wide for Ronnie Osmer and Kyle Cooper, and as soon as we say nobody's tried it, someone does. But it doesn't prove to do much. Last week for our Integrity Octane Series event, we ended up changing the venue from the Twin Ring Motegi and went to the Pocono Raceway instead. The reason for that was a big iRacing update, which of course got us the brand new package for the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and as well changed the tires on the Next-Gen. And it looks like maybe some minor changes made to the SuperSpeedway package for the Xfinity car, as even when we went to this venue last year, we didn't see the same level of, shall we say, conservatism behind the wheel. It looks like tires are already beginning to shred. Looking at pace, as it stands, definitely getting slower. 32-second lap that time by for Jared Davis. Keep in mind, his best so far in this race, quicker. It was a 31.267, so you're starting to see drivers losing pace and slowing down nearly a full second per lap. Even your best guys, even the leaders, are feeling it. We don't have a tire set limit, so we also don't have a fuel cap. The tire set limit is going to be effectively irrelevant tonight. You have 3 extra sets. That's not going to compromise any driver, because it looks like the strategy can be split into what we call the magic number and the perfect half. It's a 115-lap race today. Not a lot of time. It's under the 180-lap mark we often go to in situations like this. Nevertheless, it means that drivers can go down anywhere between lap 60 to lap 70. They could go in a little bit earlier if they would like, as early as about lap number 55. If they chose to do so, they would be able to make it to the end of the race without hesitation and without a problem. Up top, there's Ethan Lane. Still, not a driver budging as the sun beams down on the circuit once again. The Atlanta Motor Speedway, well known, of course, for being down south and one of the first real examples of southern intermediate racing at a time when NASCAR was ever expanding across the country. Texas Motor Speedway, Las Vegas, Kansas, Chicagoland. This reconfiguration initially came as a shock. We're talking about the 1997 one anyway, and proved to, unfortunately, give into the stereotype that NASCAR was making all those circuits with, of course, the help of SMI and those track organizations, all one and the same. And that's what turned, in some part anyway, fans away as Hunter Madalenis goes to the inside and turns down to the bottom. It's a scuffle, it's a shuffle, but everyone stays together. 3 wide, Gallagher, Drucker, and Matthew Thunhorst, but Hunter Madalenis is the big loser. He falls outside the top 20. Well, take a look at what happened here. Looks like he bailed on his own terms from what we're looking at. And one more time inside the cockpit, I'm not sure what this was for. Either he didn't like what he was seeing, or, and it doesn't look like this is the case right now, he was penalized, he falls to the back. And it looked to be voluntary, not out of control there. Luckily, the field gets away with it. Oh, Rob Ackley, a little bit loose. So maybe we're starting to see drivers actually losing grip here. And as that pace diminishes, so does the tire. While the ambient temperature has gone down a degree, the track temp is now up to 87. I think we're going to hit that midpoint where it hits its peak and starts to drop down. As soon as we say that, 86 degrees for a brief moment, but it still looks like we're seeing the heat play a role. We may potentially see 90 degrees tonight if the sun shines a little while longer. Looks like some cloud cover getting in the way again. And if it stays that way, temperature is going to dissipate, and we won't see much an increase. Tom Wetmore able to get around on Jared Davis, while Ethan Lane leads the high side still. And amid that scuffle, you're starting to see, drivers are wiggling up and down for the first time tonight. This mile-and-a-half circuit is known for being full-on with speed, but in a situation like this, drivers have to very first time tonight temper their expectations and maybe back it down a little. The good news for them, it's a very new surface, only 3 years of age on it, which means that you're not going to be worried too much about anything outrageous when it comes to track surface. It's not as much of a cheese grater as the older Atlanta surface was, but since you're going at higher speeds, you're still dealing with a lot of wear, and drivers, in the real world anyway, have started to experience it. Of course, some bumps, some crevices in the circuit, which have made it a lot more difficult to navigate your way around efficiently. Of course, these drivers having the knowledge now are starting to spread. Thomas Bresti with the upper hand on Matthew Thunhorst has gone up 10 places from 26th to 16th, whereas Thunhorst is only up 22nd to 20th. Just as quickly as Thunhorst gets up to the championship lead, that opportunity to maintain it is in jeopardy. Matthew leading the points for the first time in nearly 2 years, and he's doing so off the back of a great stretch of races from Charlotte to now, and 2 points is the deficit. Blake Gordon given a connection-based black flag, the first officially issued, and iRacing Race Control just provided the memo. We can't see Gordon, we're trying to watch his car here, and it looks like connection issues are severe enough that he's going to fall all the way to the back, and he's going to hit pit road. We don't see him there, once again, but he was sent to pit road. Blake Gordon in the number 13. He's arrived to pit road, and it looks like that is where he's going to be kept until those connection issues restore themselves. Tom Wetmore up high, almost getting pinched up there by Elliott Henderson, but Henderson chooses not to go and put the dagger on him. 40 laps in out of 115. Tell you what, a rapid-fire section so far, and much of the racing strategy has looked the same, but we are starting to observe that tire strategy will play a bigger part. Off the back end of Ethan Lane once again. Here's the front. It's clear and clean as day. But if you look behind here, as drivers come toward the start-finish, weaving and bobbing is becoming a little bit more common. Tires wearing, pace has slowed down, but the leaders have picked it back up to a sub-32-second rate. Coming up on a lapper right now, let's see what happens here with Cal Filarski. Cal is now going 2 laps down in the number 39 car and gets immediately out of the way. Filarski stays to the inside of the circuit, gives these drivers no trouble, and gets back on the way. Yeah, Chris DeWeese in the chat, this racing is unbelievable, and well, I would agree, but it's not for the reason I expected tonight. I'll tell you that much. We've gone to this circuit before. Not that it's a full unfamiliar circuit. Of course, not only in FTN Racing, but also in the Integrity Racing League. But there's a completely different character tonight on display, what we've seen before. The last time FTN Broadcasting went to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway in this new configuration, it was the Iora Cup Series. Alexander Valderas collected his second and what could be his final career win in that league, doing so in a 4-wide wreck that collected everyone in the field but himself. That night was with the Xfinity package for 2024. We saw a little bit more racy conditions, and drivers were not afraid to step out for the third groove, which again, in 44 laps, has not happened in the top 10 once. Are these drivers keeping the peace? Are they maintaining their pace just for the sake of it? Are they waiting for the time to go to pit road? A lot of questions. Not too many answers so far, as Ethan Lane leads him down the back straight again. What is most likely at this rate is that, yes, pit road is going to be the priority. Within 10 laps from our window opening, Blake Cannon trying to get to the inside of Lane. Blake cannot get there. However, Jared Davis now leads the inside. Cannon is not able to clear Davis. Same line leaders from lap 5 maintain control. From practically the beginning of this race to now, Ethan Lane has been at least a top 2 driver. And now he's trying to block both lanes. Roadhouse Racing teammates Cannon and Wetmore lined up together on the high side. The 27 leading the 51, the flagship man in the Tube Tech Toyota, seeing his new teammate try to get up there. DJ Stagner in the fight for the top 5 here. DJ has separated himself out a little bit from the number 44, Michael Araya, and perhaps most importantly, separated himself out from teammate Ryan Potter. Potter is still up 5 on the day, 17th and 12th, running a calm and consistent race. If the tire strategy is right for the Swamp Boys, they might be able to replicate their success from Daytona in the Highline Racing League, get together, and really start to make changes. And of course, it's not just the Swamp that has potential to do that. It's all the big teams you're looking at here. In the top 10, Domination Intimidation Racing has Rob Ackley and Braxton DeWeese. JTM Motorsport has Casey Shue. Right now, all of his teammates are a little bit further behind than usual. And Rob Ackley, of course, has a chance to work with the number 1 of DeWeese when necessary. And Roadhouse Racing, Jared Davis is not there with them, but they have an unofficial partnership with the 19 car times. I don't think today's going to be the case. Jared running independent. He's a very hard guy to contact and track down. He's the only driver who's gotten a win that we haven't heard from yet. So it's really Cannon and Wetmore together tonight. Then you look back and you got a few independent guys. JTM has now Tyler Hensley on the verge of a top 10. Hensley is one hell of a driver, and we've known it, and we're now wondering exactly what he can do with that capability. Slowly but surely, he's been able to elevate his game race after race. 3 wide. Take a look. That's going to be Thomas Bressi briefly with Ryan Potter. Bressi has pulling away more and more from Matthew Thunhorst, and it looks like that gap has only extended. Sun is really beginning to set now. The lighting has changed. The stadium lights are going to take over, and it looks like track temperature has slightly decreased. From the high of 87 Fahrenheit, it is now 86 degrees. All things considered, it's a minor decrease, but it is going to pay off for the field here. Halftime tonight, we're coming up on that number as well. A little bit quicker perhaps than usual. It's going to be lap number 58. So the pit road window is absolutely wide open now. Any driver can choose to go in whenever they would like, and they would adequately go the distance for the rest of the race. The NASCAR Xfinity Series car can usually go for 60 laps in an intermediate, or when it comes down to mileage, they're usually good for just about 90 miles per tank. Now, that's going to be more than enough for the rest of this race from here on out if they go in even now and save a little bit. You can stretch up to 70 miles, or rather up to 95 to 100 miles. You go in a little bit later, say for instance we're on the 80% fuel capacity limit, which we are in the Thursday night Iora Cup Series, you can stretch up to 70 miles at the very most. But when you're on that full tank, 95 to 100 is very achievable. Top 10 see some new guys entering. Casey Shue now in 9th. Braxton DeWeese right there with them. Elliott Henderson holding the fort in the 37 up top. Hunter Madalenas 13th to 13th. He has the number 24 of Thomas Bressi to his inside. Bressi again, after multiple weeks of seeing himself tumble down the points, looks like now he's getting himself put together again. Oh, contact! Up the wall! Wetmore, Henderson, Hensley, Madalenas, the caution is out. For the first time today, right at our halfway point, we've got a yellow. Take a look at this. The field implodes up in front. Here is your replay. And everyone's going to come down to pit road now. Blake Gordon had gone down and in, and you're looking at this replay. At the head of the field, things look to be calm and collected. But you pull it back. Wetmore, loose, overcorrects. That's the 51 into Elliott Henderson. And as soon as Tom makes that minor bobble, it's all downhill from there. Wetmore ricochets up, and Elliott Henderson crams him up into the wall big time. Casey Shue gets a minor tap on the back end. Braxton DeWeese is shot out of the way. Bressi goes 4 wide briefly. Ronnie Osmer goes to the inside of the circuit. Number 55 there. You see him making his way. And just like that, big contact and an incident. Tom Wetmore in the 51. Of course, on Monday nights, he runs that 69. And it looks like trouble again. He's able to get it straight, only to hit Sebastian Miller. And then another clink from Potter. So 2 of the Swamp Motorsport guys involved. Yellow flag is out for the first time today, right as everyone goes down to pit road. Well, that makes strategy pretty simple. Except, take a look at this. Matthew Thunhorst and Tom Wetmore are holding out. I can't imagine why Thunhorst is doing it. I can only imagine why Tom Wetmore would. Take a look at the race off pit road now. Let's see who makes it out first. Davis. Clearly, it'll be Jared Davis, Ethan Lane, Rob Ackley, Blake Cannon, DJ Stagner, Michael Araya, Thomas Bressi, and Braxton DeWeese in consecutive order to make up the top 10. So now, as the field gets put back together, It'll be Matthew Thunhorst opting for pit road this time by. That's going to send him all the way down the ladder. Thunhorst will drop through. Tom Wetmore staying on the banking of the circuit, but I can't imagine he's going to stay out. Damage he has. 51 team remains on the circuit. We're halfway there from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway as you're watching coverage tonight of the 16th race of the 2025 Integrity Ignite Series season. Welcome back live on FTN Broadcasting. If you're tuning in for the first time just now, or if you're returning, I'm David Kreutz commentating and producing. It's wonderful to have you here. It's been a clean and green race, emphasized, of course, by the fact that we have not seen a lot of green flag passing. Put it simply, Tom Wetmore makes the error, was part of the cause of the caution. He's leading. I really don't know how this is going to play out, and I'm surprised we're even allowing it to happen. With back-end damage, Tom Wetmore is going to try to save himself and use this incident as an opportunity to gain. Thunhorst is now 30th after going to pit road a lap late. Nine times out of 10, and a track where tires matter even the slightest bit, when a driver does this, it doesn't really work out well. We'll see if it does this time, but with that backside blown up for Tom Wetmore, and you'll take a look off Ethan Lane's front end, well, you'll clearly see that's not a guy you can push, not a guy you can shove. Oh, bad news here. We'll see what happens. The pit road. Tom Wetmore gains position out of an incident he's involved in and will bring the field to green. Here we go again. Wetmore gets a solid enough start to maintain. He's got his teammate in Cannon only 2 cars behind him. Green flags out for the first restart of the night. It's a Tube Tech Chevrolet surprisingly getting a jolt off him. Oh, he's going to have to pull down immediately. Yep, no shot for the 51 of Tom Wetmore, and just like that, he'll fall back to the tail end. Jared Davis is going to benefit. Blake Cannon, however, gets the biggest gain of all. It's now going to be Cannon to the point, and his teammate is going to play the sacrifice call at lap number 60. Just like that, race leader changes up. Thomas Bresci up to the high side of the circuit, forced 3 wide briefly. It'll go double file again as the 24. Oh, contact. It's going to be further behind with Vinny Tigner. He'll straighten himself out. Call on the field is the yellow flag. Vinny saved it, but it's a safety yellow. Watch this. The number 12 looks like he went down. Contact, quarter panel tap from Brian McFerrin, and luckily, Vinny put it together. Great save from Tigner, the sophomore driver, who is also the owner of Saturday Night Thunder. Next Saturday night, SNT returns with the Henry Kaloff Summer Clash. We'd like to thank Kaloff Dice Racing and Saturday Night Thunder for making it possible. We'll be bringing to you some summer events before SNT kicks off for the rest of its 2025 campaign. Tigner saves it. Yellow flags out for the second time today. Lane stays out. We will restart at lap number 64, tentatively speaking, past our halfway point. The yin and yang of this field, when you look at those colors, Jared Davis and Ethan Lane have led the most laps, and they have been the line leaders for the majority of the night. Particularly Ethan Lane. He got up in front at about lap 5, and he's been there ever since. Davis has been jockeying for position a little bit more, but the all-black number 19 car is exactly where he qualified. That is second place. for Jared. It's been consistency. For Ethan Lane, it has been minor gains. 4th to 1st on the night so far for the Lane car. That Toyota Supra is advantageous over the field and 5th in the championship points. Now, for Ethan, the regular season title would probably be an unrealistic ask. He's a 10-time winner so far in the Integrity Racing League this year. 4 of those wins have come in the Ignite Series. He has 4 wins and 4 pole positions. So far, he's gone 1-1 for every pole. He's got a victory. Tonight, of course, could be an exception, and he might be able to get a win even if he doesn't take the checkers. Coming to 1 lap to green for your second restart of the night. Vinny Tigner saving it. But as you can see, it looks like grip becoming a bigger issue. Track temperature has decreased 4 degrees from its peak. Relative humidity has only increased. So you're looking at that back and forth. Humidity's higher, temperature is lower, which will play a bigger role with the rubber put on pavement. So far, I'll tell you this much, the grip doesn't seem to be increasing for these drivers. So it looks like so far, temperatures be damned, they're having a harder time out there. Down the back straightaway. Biggest mover in the top 10 so far, 23rd to 8th for Brent McClendon in the Louisiana State University. Number 11 car has been typically found up in front after gaining big due to tire strategy. It looks like more of the same for Brent once again today. Track conditions have been fluctuating. Track position has been everything. So for a driver like McClendon to be up front right now, that could be the difference maker between success and failure tonight. So far, he's got himself in a much better position. Braxton Weiss, 7th. He's got his teammate Rob Ackley right ahead of him here. Tom Wetmore plays the sacrifice and gives way to Blake Cannon in the top 3. But it's the old and all-familiar line leaders of Ethan Lane and Jared Davis for your second restart at lap number 64. Green flags out once again. Here we go. Davis pushing on the outside, can't quite get there. The inner groove has it made. Rob Ackley looks to the inside. He'll take with him DJ Stagner and Ronnie Osmer. Double file once again, and you'll see right now the sun has practically fully set, giving way to that nighttime style of racing. Last time the Integrity Racing League was at this track was with the Octane Series, Don Stevenson collecting his second career win, and that was the only victory he got that season, and he was one of only 2 drivers to break the Big Three's dominance. $65 laps in out of 115, coming to 66, and it looks like all is right with the leaders again. Brant McClendon in 11th, 12th place. There we go, 3 wide. It's going to be the 73 going at it. Middle 3, Nicholas Ward pushes. Here we go, up top. Ward making his move. That'll put him in the top 10 conversation. At the stripe for lap 6-7, Ethan Lane holds forth. Looks like once again we gotten ourselves into a good rhythm here, so once again a major shout out to all the fans in the chat room tonight, including Chris DeWeese and Ty Smith. If you've got a favorite driver, make sure to let us know. And not often do we do this, but I'd also like to thank some of the people who are watching at home who know where we are at here at the FTN Broadcasting Studios in New York. Now, this came up in some real life discussion just before we got this race on the schedule, so I figured I'd mention it. lap number 68, Ackley to the inside. This one came up in discussion today as we were walking home to the studio, and it's something on TikTok. I'm not necessarily familiar with it, but it's something that's been going around. Something, I'm so Atlanta, Georgia. I really don't know what that means, but to the people who know, and the people who are watching right now, because I know they're watching, keep me posted, because that might just be the winning phrase tonight. We'll see whoever gets to get that internet fame of Ackley or Lane or whoever of which is leading. They might be in the discussion in terms of a more viral sense tonight. We'll see if that happens. We would need a good finish for that to really be the case. Ronnie Osmer in 6th. Braxton Deweese in 7th, and of course a strong shout out to those at home, because really, we don't know what it means, but we appreciate the discussion. It came up, and I remembered we were racing at Atlanta tonight, so I'd mention it once again. So of course, you know who you are. Thank you for tuning in, and if you got a favorite driver, there's a lot of good ones to pick one. Of course, could be the guy up in front now. Lane surging through. Up high, he's got Cannon with him. Down to the inside is Rob Ackley, DJ Stagner. Now without his teammates, still looking strong. You got to look at DJ Stagner as a guy who could win this one outright. I mean, the number 64 team, great at the superspeedways. He's a great team driver at the superspeedways for Swamp Motorsport. But most importantly, as an individual, he really knows how to work the strategy well and finesse it, even if he's not the best driver. If you take a look on board with him now, you'll see he's in the midst of a very fierce fight. By all accounts, he's not leading it. By all accounts, he hasn't been leading. He qualified 11th. He's currently racing in 5th. So when you look at this, he's not in the perfect position to go out there and get the job done, but at the very same time, he's close. That's how he was able to come away with a critical victory in the Highline Racing League this year at the Pocono Raceway. He took the notes from his 6th place finish in the Integrity Ignite Series, and then was able to apply a similar strategy and do it a little bit better on the Thursday night of that week. He was 3rd place going into the final lap, swept under the bottom 2, of course, on the inside, the top 2 drivers. He went down to the bottom and took the victory. He is an unsuspecting driver, and it looks like tonight, getting closer and closer to the end goal of leading again. Lane and Ackley going at each other. Rob Ackley, not only the first ever Ignite Series winner, but the first ever Ignite Series Superspeedway winner. That's something to note. He did it at Daytona in 2023, and he's been a strong contender since. Tyler Hensley to the inside, he'll go one down. Three wide for multiple lanes now. First time we've seen it. Jared Davis peels high, and now there's a breakaway. Braxton Deweese is up on the top. Does he get any help? Looks like not quite. Oh, Deweese not in a great position here. I don't know if it's going to work out for him. He might get lucky here. Nicholas Ward has a chance to break to the inside. He hasn't gone for it. Oh, it's big pressure there as Deweese goes door to door with the 97. Meanwhile, Ronnie Osmer takes it 3, banging again up the wall. Ward shooting the one up high. Deweese shooting the 97 down low. Whichever way you look at it, however the angle is put, it's getting a little bit more tense out there without question. To lap number 75. Ethan Lane's single file is on the inside of him is Rob Ackley. You got Blake Cannon now leading Thomas Bressi. What a night for Thomas Bressi, and he needs it. The number 24 team has been watching as his teammate in Matthew Thunors has been chopping away at that championship advantage. Oh, that's no longer the case with a night like this, gaining 20 places. Bressi looks rejuvenated out there. He looks a lot better than he has in the past few weeks, and he really looks like the driver we've come to expect out of him. Through turn 3. We'll see now what Jared Davis can do. He tries to get around Blake Cannon. It looks like he can't quite. Bressi left a lot of room for Davis there. Wasn't quite able to get around it. And the 44, Michael Araya. Looks like now he's really caught up. That's going to be the weakness here. If drivers get pulled around, If they don't have distance, they're going to have to keep it tight, but at what point is too tight? Thomas Bressi surges up to the higher side of the circuit. Michael Araya now going there. You don't want to leave any gaps open here. That's what's going to lead to, I think, more confrontational racing as Cody Smith jumps to the inner groove. Ethan Lane, the 6 car. Up high, Blake Cannon still with them. Jared Davis on the outside. And now Ethan has control of both lanes again. Look at that, he swaps down to the bottom. This is something we see in real superspeedway racing more than we see it in iRacing, but in Atlanta, where it is so hard to pass, suddenly this becomes a viable strategy again. You can go high, you can go low, and if you really are confident, you can go to both whenever you'd like. It's exciting to see, but of course, it comes with that big risk. What's going to happen now for the driver of Rob Ackley? Does he get the support from DJ Stagner here? Now, not to say that any of these guys are teammates up front. Most of the teammates have been separate. But if you don't have the confidence in the guys around you, you're in a really bad spot. Ackley so far doesn't seem to have any issues with DJ Stagner. But these three up front, Lane, Cannon, and Davis up high, they have been a lot more forceful with each other. And I don't think that's forceful by virtue of malice or malintent in any way. I think it's just more trust. I think it's trust that they know they can push a little bit further, push a little bit harder, and do so together until they compete with each other at the very end. Whereas maybe Ackley or Stagner aren't really alongside each other all too long. It's not really the case. So with that being said, you might see a little bit of a disadvantage if you're on the inside groove now, because you are not at all comfortable with the guys around you. That is, of course, all assumption based on what we're seeing here, as we're coming up on a lapper, one of which is Matthew Thunhorst. And oh boy, is this bad for your championship leader. And this all but guarantees he won't be coming away with that title lead at the end of the night. Tigner moving out of the way here. Does he do it? No! The lappers stack up. Wow, that cost the inside big. Lane is now going to try to use them as roadblocks, I figure. Again, lappers have the right to race to maintain position. But oh, if I was Rob Ackley, I would be fuming. Wow. So now you got two practical roadblocks out there. They're on pace, but they aren't in the battle for position. Wow, Thunhorst now side by side with his teammate again. But I'll tell you what, if I was on that inside groove, I would not be happy. And Ackley tried to be forceful there with Tigner, couldn't get the shove on Thunhorst. And now you see the problem. That is a blessing. Not a blessing in disguise, but an outright blessing for Davis, Lane, Cannon. They got exactly what they needed there. And I don't think that Matthew Thunhorst is going to be cutting his teammate Bressi any favors given the tense battle for the regular season title. Luckily, they didn't end up turning out to be a caution, of course. But how do you work two drivers down the line fully? I think that's a trick question because I really don't think there's a good answer. And I'm sure Ethan Lane knows that. The outside groove now has a little bit more freedom. Jared Davis is on the inner groove, and now he's got a lapper pushing him. Stability and freedom. Inside groove for Davis has one. For Lane on the outside, it's another. But either way, if you're behind Vinny Tigner right now, you are in a much worse position. Drivers who are a lap down have the right to fight for that, but keep in mind, these guys are now 2 down, and they're fighting for a chance to go 1 lap down to get the lucky dog to go to the lead lap. So they're fighting for a hypothetical. Now, of course, the lucky dog is always a hypothetical, but they would need a perfect incident, shall we say. And by a perfect incident, we mean that the leaders ahead of them wreck, they go back to being 1 lap down, then one of them gets the lucky dog to go on the lead lap. That would be what's necessary. Very unlikely, but in a situation like this, you gotta fight for every shot you're given. 30 laps to go, and now less than that. DJ Stagner, a little bit of an accordion effect there, slightly squeezing up the back end as Ronnie Osmer goes high out of desperation. Osmer finding himself just in the top 20 battle, of course, in points. He's among those fighting for a bubble spot. He's been fluctuating, has gotten it back up to as high as 12th, chasing after Jacob Fife. Fife today in the 36 car, looking to keep the great momentum rolling as your league owner has pulled himself up to 11th in the championship. Of course, for Jacob, it looks like tonight you don't see him on the racing circuit up in front just yet. He's waiting for a final shot. Regular season not able to conclude it from today. But to this point, Jack Drucker in the 56 getting an edge. Drucker looking to get up to Nick Tarbuck in points, 18 the gap, and so far with positions, it looks like we might see an overturn for third in the points. '26th up to 5th. Biggest mover, Thomas Bresci, gaining 21, and it's been a great race for him. It is a statement race by all accounts. The only thing he might have to worry about is the fact that his teammate and rival is on the inside looking for the lucky dog. But right now for Thomas, when you're talking about points, he might be able to jump out to a 20-point lead by virtue of this race going his way. Matthew Thunhorst is in 32nd. Thomas Bresci is in 4th as they go across the line that time by. Yeah, that's a big one. That is a big missed opportunity for Thunhorst. He went down to pit road 1 lap late in that first caution, and that cost him immensely. I don't know what the strategy call was for that. Only he and Tom Wetmore decided for it. That cost everything for Thunhorst. Taking the championship lead, of course, it's something he can claim. It's something he can take back again. But he clawed to get up to being 2 points ahead. And now he's going to have to work himself out of the hole again. Garrett Davis being shoved in front. Ethan Lane now not seeing that same level of support. Again, Thunhorst has nothing to lose in working with any driver around him. In fact, he gains by pushing a driver out in front. So you'll see a little bit more enthusiastic support from a lapper who is desperate to succeed, as opposed to a situation where a guy can be in a lead lap position, be up in the top 5, and they want to succeed, but they don't really want to push their rivals out in front either. Thunhorst is in a different situation. He is in a situation where desperation makes sense, so Jared Davis is going to get his help. Double file all the way down, and it is really nighttime in Atlanta. The sun fully setting, track conditions 85 degrees, still as warm as they come. 24 laps to go. And you know, discussing in the chat room the different perspectives, of course, of watching inside the car compared to the broadcast here, I think sometimes viewers and even broadcasters and drivers don't give themselves or give the product on track enough credit. Just because they're double file and they're not making those outrageous moves all the time doesn't mean this isn't exciting racing. This is for a championship. This could be for a driver's first win. The stakes are high and the speeds are even higher. We're not going under 170 and we're seeing over 180 for a lot of this track. 23 laps to go is past. Now with 22 laps remaining, we're going to crank it up thanks to our friends at Whiplash SimCams. Atlanta Motor Speedway looking better than ever with its new configuration and its new name. And if you want to check out the best cameras on the iRacing platform, make sure to visit Whiplash SimCams on their social media platforms today. Check out the Discord for free trial packs and check out, of course, for their listings. $5 per car and per track. No licensing fee necessary. With 21 laps to go this time by, let's crank it up from Hampton, Georgia, and let's get loud and proud from Atlanta here in the Integrity Ignite Series.
Braxton Deweese up the track. Brant McClendon goes spinning. The caution is out. Big incident. Perhaps our biggest of the night at lap 97. Deweese, some contact from Ronnie Osmer, sent them up the circuit. Braxton sliding, pounding the wall, heading down and in to Brant McClendon. McClendon collected. Gordon hit. Brent nearly going up and over. And just like that, Josh Christman spins. Hunter Madalena's collected. Kyle Brooks also sliding. Ryan Potter slides out of the way, but it looks like he collects contact too. Brian McFerrin, Boomer Logan, more of the same. Big hits. Clendon, Chrisman destroyed. 71 to Kyle Brooks, hit by the 96 there. And once again, some contact at the tail end of the fight. That was Josh Gallagher. One more time, we're going to play that one back and see what exactly led to it. And you'll see the lap leading up. Ronnie Osmer was behind Braxton Deweese coming down the front straightaway. So from the tail end of the one car, and try to show the perspective of the front end of the 55 as well, as the one of Deweese is catapulted up the circuit. We'll be coming green with less than 15 laps to go from this point. Contact. And it looks like that's the difference maker. Once and twice there. And from Braxton's side, clearly shot up the circuit. Now for Ronnie Osmer, we'll take a look from his side. The ride on board might tell a different story here. Was there a checkup or anything else? Blake Gordon is officially retiring for the day. The number 13 car, 4 laps down as it stands. Internet connection has been plaguing him. That's what dropped him off the lead lap. Vinny Tigner gets the lucky dog. Watch this. Now I can't quite tell what caused the slow up there. Osmer making contact with Deweese. Yellow flag is out. Osmer's getting off pit road, as are many. Ethan Lane remains up in front, so you see a split in the strategy now. 1 lap to green. Take a look at that last pit lap. From DJ Stagner and 10th on down, drivers go in. We have 9 holdouts in Lane, Davis, Cannon, Bresci, Ward, Ackley, Drucker, Lariah, and Kyle Cooper. DJ Stagner and Cody Smith, the first of those on new rubber. Kyle Brooks is also retiring for the day. 2 laps down in 33rd. 71 parks it and calls it a night. Ethan Lane is going to hold out on older rubber, but again, the pace deficit, we got to see it in action. Again, he's got backup. He's got about 4 full rows of backup. And I think when you look at the numbers and you look at the challenges we've had at green flag passing, green flag moves at all, that might be enough defense to go the distance here. Is it a risky call? Absolutely. But I think that Ethan Lane has enough foresight and enough help to make it work. You're going to find out. Won't be easy now, but very little comes easy in a moment like this. Ethan Lane and the old rubber are due to fight again. Green flags out. Ethan Lane gets the jolt start. Thomas Bresci now alone on the outside. 1, 2, 3. Lane, Davis, and Blake Cannon. And Thomas Bresci is all by himself.
Now it's going to be shuffling back and forth. Kyle Cooper heads down to the apron here, and it is going to be 3 wide. Michael Araya, watch out now as he'll take it down the middle. Trying to get ahead of Cody Smith. Going up top, trying to split at 3 was Cody right there. Couldn't quite get there. Thomas Bressi back in line rapidly. 15 laps to go, becomes only 14 now, with a 97 of Nicholas Ward has a shot in the arm and the race lead. Side by side with Ethan Lane. Big contact again. It's going to be Jared Davis into Thomas Bressi. Yellow flags out. Michael Araya implodes. It's your 4th of the night. Cautions at Bread Cautions. That is our 2nd straight back-to-back caution run. We had it earlier at the midpoint. Looks like again it happened. Watch this. Starting with Michael Araya here. And you'll see they come down the back straight. Just a little bit of shuffling made the difference. We'll play it back one more time there and get you a better angle of the incident. Araya involved, of course. Giving you a closer look. Sim Speed Shop 44 was 3 wide briefly with Cody Smith. And as they go 3, quickly you see them all fanning out. DJ Stagner there. Oh, but it was Cody Smith, Jared Davis, and Thomas Bressi who got in the wall. Then Araya gets a piece. Sliding up the circuit. Araya tagged, as is number 81 of Matthew Thunhorst. And Brandon Bernhardt. Bernhardt is going to ricochet up the track. Getting a worse hit than that. Michael Araya spinning to the back of the field. Both Bressi and Thunhorst involved in this incident. And now Thomas has front end damage. Running 11th at the line that time by, it looks like he's still on track and does not intend to leave his spot. We'll go green with 10 laps to go, but until then, if you've enjoyed tonight's coverage, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support always greatly appreciated. If you've got any late race picks to see who's going to get the job done, let us know, because Ethan Lane right now, I think by the numbers is the race winning favorite, but it really could go any way. It's now Nicholas Ward with a shot. Jack Drucker's up in front. Cody Smith or Kyle Cooper. I'll tell you what, it doesn't look like any of these guys are a clear favorite. Maybe Lane has the advantage over everyone, but it isn't as if it's a big one. Emphasizing that, it's going to be pretty small, if anything. Coming now to 11 laps to go. We go green with only 10. Any caution after lap 110 will send us to our overtime procedure, which means that from that point onward, we are going to extend the race after the original concluding lap of 115. Possible we have to go that route. Our 4th caution of the night. Lane up top. And Ward right with him. Let's see now what Nicholas Ward can do, as he's been thrust into a position where just maybe he has a chance to go out there and win it. Ward so far, his best career Ignite Series finish, 2nd place to Thomas Bressi in Kentucky. Has a win so far in the Octane Series this year, but has not yet been able to make it happen here in Monday nights. Snapping what was a half-decade winless by virtue of the Octane win he collected, now looking to have 2 wins in the modern era, 1 in each series. Pace car will let him go for your 4th restart of the day. Green flag sets off, and just like that, it's Lane and Ward. Ethan's got the inside on the backing of Blake Cannon. Nicholas Ward can't get the jump though. The outside is disorganized, and again, Ward has the edge. Watch out for Thomas Bresci with a little bit of that damage on the front end. Does it cost him? He's got help now from Wetmore. Here we go. Ethan Lane holds fort. Jared Davis further behind. It looks like he's giving the signal that he is pitting in. Jared Davis is going down to pit road. And he's going to fall a little bit further back as he was at the tail end of the field. And just like that, Davis around the way. Nevertheless, your leaders see Thomas Bresci still trying to hang on with whatever he's got left. The number 8 of Matthew Funhorst is 2 laps down, so even if Bresci falls out of the top 10, a lead lap finish is all he needs. DJ Stagner shot to the inside. 9 laps to go. And you're seeing those flares for the first time really showing through for everyone. Ethan Lane still managing well. For Lane, it would be his 5th of the season, and again, he would be in his own territory with the most wins on the year so far. Coming out at 8 laps to go. Cody Smith and DJ Stagner amongst each other. DJ still looking to snap the winless streak for 2025. The former champion, still as strong as he's ever been. He doesn't have his teammates though. Can he do it without the swamp? He's done it before without them, but as of late, it's all been that total team control. DJ's up to second. He's got Cody Smith now moving up to the top position. Inside is Smith, Stagner, and JTM's Justin Morton. Jared Davis far behind now, of course. He went to pit road, and it looks like he signaled himself out of the battle. 7 laps to go. Caution's out. Yellow flag. And so we pace again. This is going to leave us with at most 4 laps to go. Watch this. Looks like mid-pack shenanigans are going to give way to what could be our final caution of the night. Yup, Josh Christman, number 88. Look further back, and you'll see it. 2 laps down to the time of incident for your 30th place driver now. Josh goes around. The 44 of Michael Araya was to the inside. And it looks like Matthew Funhorst was trying to squeeze 3. Contact with the 8. Sends the 88 down. Yellow flag. Spinning is Christman. Contact with Matthew Funhorst. 6 laps to go. Battling for lap positions there. Every point counts. Elliott Henderson comes in. Steve Durham, Michael Araya, Ryan Potter, all of which in consecutive order. With 6 laps to go, we have a little bit of time before we bring you back for what could be restart number 5 and our final of the night. Until then, we're going to leave you with a message from our friends at iRacing.com. 17 plus years of the most accurate online racing simulation in the world. Professionals and amateurs use it alike for that very reason. Start your sim racing career today at iRacing.com. Summer sales are coming very soon, and we'll keep you posted with the best offers on the market. Thank you for tuning in tonight. With 5 laps to go, we'll return to Integrity Ignite Series Racing. Grab your popcorn after a word from our friends at iRacing Motorsport Simulations.
But experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
3 laps remaining for our 5th restart of the day. Cody Smith, leading man. This is not counted as a green-white checkered attempt. However, any caution from this point onward will guarantee attempt number 1. We have 3 overtime attempts available to us, and any caution from this point will bring us to that ultimatum. So, that would mean that we would have 2 green flag laps to settle it. If we get to the white flag, the race is official under any circumstance. But we will stretch the race further if the yellow flag comes out again for our 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th cautions. If applicable, we can keep extending the race. We will not extend for our 10th caution or 4th overtime. That will be the automatic end of the race, and scoring loops will determine the winner. Cody Smith started 25th today. 5th place, Justin Morton, started 34th today. 8th place, Jack Drucker, started 24th. After 100 plus laps at a super speedway style circuit, qualifying doesn't mean that much after all. 3 laps to get the job done for DJ Stagner in the swamp or Cody Smith and Next Level Racing. Back to business now to finish it off. 3 to go. Ethan Lane now in 3rd, and for the first time in all of these restarts, he doesn't immediately have clean air. Cody Smith careening down the back straightaway with the most momentum he's had all night long, and all of a sudden, he's got a shot to win it. Ackley inside, he'll save it, but it takes him out of winning contention. Rob Ackley to the apron, gets out of the way, the field continues to fight. 2 laps to go. Cody Smith advantageous now with DJ Stagner shoving. Ethan Lane's had the help of Blake Cannon all night long, and all of a sudden, it doesn't look like it's enough. He'll need more from the outside, including Nicholas Ward, but Ward has left the gap open, and it's locked tight on the inside. Lane low. He can't get any lower. He's in that second groove with 1 lap to go. DJ Stagner sees Lane spin. 1 lap to go. Ethan Lane out of contention. Kyle Cooper destroyed, spinning like a top, while Cody Smith gets away. White flag is out now. The field is coming toward the back straightaway, and they're still flickering back and forth. Leading is Smith. DJ Stagner right there with them. Blake Cannon up high. Justin Morton up higher, coming toward the checkered flag now. It'll be Cody Smith on the inside with DJ Stagner at the line. Cody Smith just takes it by 23 one-thousandths of a second. Unbelievable. The field implodes behind them. What a finish right at the line. You see it there. Leaning on each other. Smith gets away. He was shoved by Stagner at the time of the incident, and he breaks through. Cody Smith's first win of 2025, and it comes in exciting fashion. The 18 team has been waiting for this one for a long while now. Finally back to victory lane in Ignite Series competition. Cody Smith is the man of the hour, moving up 25 places en route to victory. DJ Stagner 24 thousandths away from the checkered flag, as Cody brings it toward the start-finish line to celebrate. To burn it down, the number 18 team. What a victory for Cody Smith, and rejuvenating for his season. Smith, Stagner, Can in the top three, and I would say those are all drivers who desperately needed a performance like that, perhaps the most of which is your winning man in Cody Smith. Racing results go as follows. After 115 laps in Hampton, Georgia, Cody Smith, 7 laps led, qualified in 25th, and only led at the line by 24 one-thousandths of a second. But tonight he proved one thing. He proved he is so Atlanta, Georgia, so much so that he won and takes his first win of the year. DJ Stagner goes for second, Blake Cannon for third, Justin Morton fourth, and Jack Drucker P5. Tom Wetmore takes sixth place with Brant McClendon seventh, Elliott Henderson eighth, and Sebastian Miller ninth as Vinny Tigner rounds out the top 10. Then 11th place on the day, Ronnie Osmer in 11th, of course, just ahead of Thomas Bressie. Bressie with a big race for his championship hopes tonight, of course, as he gains 14 places and comes away in 12th. Josh Gallagher 13th with Rob Ackley 14th and Adam Wood P15. Ryan Potter 16th, Steve Durham 17th, and Brandon Bernhardt 18th. Michael Orion 19th and 20th place at the line, Don Stevenson. Lastly from there, the final drivers on the field, you'll have 21st in Kyle Cooper, you'll have 22nd Boomer Logan, 23rd in Brian McFerrin, 24th Jared Davis, 25th Nicholas Ward, 26th in Ethan Lane, Nick Tarbuck 27th, Casey Shue 28th, P29 Hunter Madalenis, and Josh Christman 30th. 31st on back include Matthew Thunhorst, Tyler Hensley, Braxton Deweese, Gael Brooks, Cal Fularski, Andrew Schaub, and Blake Gordon in the number 13, the first retiree due to a connection fault. Cody Smith, what a drive tonight. For the 18, we'll bring in your winning man first. And with them, of course, comes the podium. But first and foremost, that's a drive this team needed. Without a doubt. He's a former race winner. He's a former SuperSpeedway winner, the first ever Octane Series winner, as a matter of fact. So it was only a matter of time until Cody Smith proved his strength at a track just like this all over again. And tonight happens to be the night. Cody Smith, with only about a bumper to spare, wins in Atlanta. What a way to return to victory lane, outlasting the chaos and the boring moments in between, to find your way in the final 3-lap shootout to your first win of the year.
Oh man, I needed it. I had a lot to do to make the playoffs on points. I knew this was going to be probably a solid shot to win if we could survive. Spent, I don't know, 3/4 of the race easily just kind of riding around, find myself near the top 10. You couldn't really go anywhere. So I decided there on that couple cautions to the end there, or the second to last caution, I think it was, to get some tires and just see what happens. And man, did it pay off, because I don't think I was going to get there without them. God, man, that was an awesome race.
Perhaps a twist of fate with those final few yellow flags getting us toward the short runs. The first half of this race, it was all the stalemate. Starting in the back of the field didn't look any easy for you. Of course, qualifying proved to be pretty important to get the ball rolling. Can you let us know how it was, first and foremost, making your way up from so far back?
Yeah, it was tough, man. I'm sure you saw it was like gridlock. There wasn't really anywhere to go. It was very tight to push it 3 wide. I think early in the race, no one really wanted to push it too hard. There was a couple times, but there's nowhere to go, like you said. So I just kind of bided my time, hoping that maybe some strategy would play out. Took some shots where I could to get a spot or two, and again, found myself up near the top 10 second half of the race, and yeah, just went after it from there. Yeah, it was I don't know what to say. I needed this win so bad to make the playoffs. I don't know if I was going to make it or not, so this is huge.
You mentioned how absolutely necessary it was when it comes down to those final moments in the championship race, the regular season, few weeks away from getting the job done and figuring out whether or not you've got the stuff to go at it. Next week, we're going back from SuperSpeedway Racing up to a more familiar track, Richmond short track circuit. How do you feel about that? We saw you were great with Phoenix. Maybe a chance to pull it again.
Yeah, I love Phoenix. Richmond is I got a love-hate relationship with that track. I seem to be sometimes, if the set's right, matches up with my driving style, I can be pretty good there. I've been really competitive there in the past. So I like Richmond. Again, pressure's off, so we're just gonna go there, see if we can't get pick up another win somewhere, and see what happens in the playoffs. I again can't believe it.
Just like that, Cody Smith, a race winner again. It's been a long time coming, and it finally comes to fruition with only a few thousandths of a second to spare. Cody, any final comments you'd like to add?
Yeah, just got to thank you, Dave. Got to thank Next Level Racing and all the admins who put on the league. Everybody for coming out. We're still getting huge grids this late in the season. This is awesome. Let's keep this going, and we'll see you guys next week.
Just like that, Cody Smith pulls through at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for his first win in the Next Level Racing 18 here in Georgia. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dave.
With Cody Smith on the way, just a few thousandths from getting the job done, DJ Stagner so close to his own first win on the year, the difference was a bumper. Unfortunately, DJ, you ended up on the losing side of that affair.
That was kind of a bummer, to be honest. I'm kind of ready to go back to victory lane in this league and been close, a few times here lately, and really thought I had him there and just didn't get the push off turn 4. But I mean, what more can you really ask for at a track like this, right? I mean, start 11th, really tough to pass, and just, slowly get up to 3rd, and then just get off strategy and come screaming up to the front. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, lose by a bumper, sometimes you get the push, sometimes you don't. So, just a little bummed about it, but it's all right. Get over it.
And bringing speed to begin with tonight, qualifying in the 11th place, and even though it was gridlocked to start, you found yourself going up to the single digits very quick and contending well to begin with. You had a few drivers working with you, of course, teammates. Ryan Potter was up on the top 15 to begin with, and of course, you ended up being the lone of those drivers making it happen.
Yeah, they I think they had some trouble back there, and I don't even remember what crash it was, but they both, Ryan and Sebi, they had a little trouble. I think it was that big crash in turn 3, but I think it took Ryan until literally the very last caution to get it all fixed. So, I mean, I think he rebounded to like 16th or something, but he had a pretty good rebound considering I think he lined up almost 30th on the last restart. So, it's just what you expect when you come to these type of races, right? I mean, it's just coin flip. I mean, that's all it is. Just coin flip, and there's a little strategy and positioning and knowing where and when and why, but at the end of the day, you never know when that crash is going to happen and when it's just your time, essentially. So, we'll take it. I mean, it's a good day. It's not a great day. It's a good day. That's the way to put it. But, ready to get back to victory lane. It's been a minute. So just looking forward to the next one. Moved on in the bracket. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to Richmond. Not my greatest track in the world, but I think we'll be okay. So at this point for the next 5 races, I mean, the bracket becomes the focus, right? So, I mean, playoffs really, I don't think are a concern right now. So we're just looking forward to the bracket and just seeing what we can do. Have a little fun for the next 5 or so weeks.
And perhaps the most important thing you'll take out of tonight is a few extra points, 9th in points coming in. So it looks like a playoff spot, not really in jeopardy as we head toward the Richmond Raceway. And you think there's maybe a chance to keep elevating that game and move further up the playoff pylon next week, or just maintain where you are?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, in my past, honestly, I've either been really good at Richmond or really bad at Richmond. I don't know if it's the track conditions or mindset or what, but I've never been okay there. I've either ran 30th or 3rd. So I don't know which one to expect. I'm hoping for 3rd, but just the bracket, like I said, the bracket's going to give just a little bit of extra motivation. So, I mean, I think you're going to see everybody come out next week with just a little chip on their shoulder, at least the 24 or so that's still left in the bracket, or 16 or however many's left. I don't even know, but I think it's going to be a fun watch on that. The integrity contests are always a good time. That's one of my favorite parts of this league, honestly, is the little contests that they run mid-season. So looking forward to it. Hopefully can fare better than I have in brackets past, but I think it'll be a fun time.
Now it looks like maybe putting the foot on the gas with a great finish to begin it here in Atlanta toward the end of the regular season. DJ Stagner, if there's anything else you would like to add, of course, the floor is yours.
Just thank you to you for the broadcast, and thank you to all the admins. I know that, like I just mentioned, the contests, starting a new one. I know that's always probably a little bit of a headache for them. So just thanks to them for putting it on. Everybody at Swamp, we ran good today. So, it's our time's coming soon. We keep hanging around. Eventually we'll steal one. So it's the way I look at it.
DJ Stagner, one position away tonight in the 64 team, just a bump around from a thriller in Georgia. Thank you again for your time, DJ.
Thank you.
And with DJ Stagner on the move, the 64 team, of course, close for the Swamp multi-card team, as was Blake Cannon and Roadhouse Racing. Today, Blake Cannon finding himself just 80 thousandths off the victory. It was rather tight between all of the podium, and for Cannon, he was up front from the jump, getting a lot of time up at the head of the field when it was green flag racing, and even the scattered end. You did not waver, Blake, and you take home third, gaining 2 on the night overall.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good night. Just frustrating the way it ended. I mean, I just made a misjudgment, and I tried to lift behind Ethan to get back up in line, and it just wasn't enough. So I hate it for him. I hate it for Nick. I hate it for Casey. Everybody that got involved in that wreck coming to the white, it was all on me, and I hate it. I say it week in, week in, week out. I just want to have a clean race, and I made 114 laps and just couldn't finish it off. So I hate that I made such a stupid error that cost a lot of people a finish that they deserved. But hats off to Cody. He earned this one.
And after what was, of course, a lot of long green flag racing strategy so suddenly switching up, and it became all about the short run. You think that all changed your approach in trying to win this thing? Was there any difference in how you went at it in the final 25 laps as compared to how you expected to go at it to begin with?
Yeah, I think a lot of us expected the racing to be quite different, start to finish. I don't think anybody expected it to be gridlock 2x2 all the way back and so hard to make ground. So track position was big, and then there at the end, when we're top two, top three, you can't pit and give up track position that's been so precious all night. So them guys that were a little further back, like Cody and DJ, that got to pit and get the tires. That's what won the race and allowed them to get up front. So hats off to them getting off strategy. But I kind of knew after that first caution when Cody had tires late in the race that there was only so much we were going to be able to do. So at that point, you made your bed, you got to lay in it. So I wish I would have got tires, but you can't make that decision when you're running top three.
And it appears tonight the tires not only playing a role on pit strategy, but we could see that grip was actively being lost as the night went on. It seemed a little bit trickier for drivers maybe than we anticipated in that respect. How was it for you managing the tires and the speed all at once? Because we saw some wiggles which gave way to those wrecks.
I think we all knew going into it that at some point the tires would go away and the cars would get on edge. I wish it wouldn't have taken 25, 30, 35 laps to happen. I think it would have allowed more passing, but it was tricky. I mean, you're just going. You feel like you're going way faster than what you are, but you lose all the side bite when you get off in the corner and the car unloads. So the right rear was very important tonight, and there really wasn't a way to save it unless you were just biding your time and being easy on the throttle. But being in the first 3 rows, you had to be hard on your tires to try to keep track position. So it was a lot of fun. It's probably the most fun I've had at a super speedway. Just driving the piss out of the car and being on edge for 15, 20 laps.
And as exciting as a run as it was, maintaining position and keeping the gains to fight for a playoff spot another week. Blake Cannon, third place on the day here. Before we move on to the Richmond Raceway, anything else you'd like to leave us with, we'd love to hear it.
Just want to apologize to all the guys. I know me and Ethan, we've had our differences, but the whole race I tried helping him, and I was going to push him to the finish right there, good, bad, or indifferent. So I hate it for him, hate it for everybody else, but we'll move on and learn from it and go to Richmond, where I feel like I'll be pretty good. So excited to get back to a short track. Good job to Tom rebounding after an early mishap, and was able to get a top 10. So good job to him, and shout out to all my Roadhouse guys. Thanks to you and everybody at the broadcast, and thanks to everybody at the league. They put on a hell of a show week in and week out.
Double top 10 for the Roadhouse Racing crew. Blake Cannon, you lead the affair. Third place here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank you again for your time.
Yeah, thank you, David.
With Blake Cannon on the move, an exciting finish and a few yellow flags at the end brought us toward an exciting race in Atlanta through and through. It turned out that the first half of the race wasn't really indicative of how it finished off. Blake Cannon goes from 5th to 3rd, DJ Stagner from 11th to 2nd, and 25th to 1st. Cody Smith makes his way back to victory lane and ekes one out at the line. From the Atlanta Motor Speedway, Cody Smith returns, and he shows he still got it. Now, we've got ourselves our final points-paying race before the All-Star break, the Richmond Raceway. That's up next, and we'd love to have you tune in live on FTN Broadcasting. It's going to be Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place. And with that said, we also have a race tomorrow night with the Integrity Octane Series as they'll go racing from the virtual Sonoma Raceway. Until then, I've been your host, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Congratulations to Cody Smith for his first victory of the year. We hope to see you back for next week's race at Richmond and tomorrow's event from Sonoma, California. Until then, we hope you have a fantastic night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
Welcome to the Underdog Racing Podcast, where we talk to NASCAR drivers from all over the great country of America. Each week, we chat about the latest races, share stories from the track, and get to know the drivers behind the wheel. We break down the action, hear from drivers about their experiences, and dive into what drives them to keep racing. Whether you're a longtime NASCAR fan or just curious about the sport, this is the place for you. So tune in to the Underdog Racing Podcast, your inside look at the world of NASCAR. Catch us every Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern.